Magandang araw mga ka-forever! Nakita na naman tayo. Kamusta ang naging weekend ninyo? We are now on our 4th week. Kay bilis nga naman talaga ng panahon, parang kailan lang tayo nagsimula mga ka-forever. May ulan man o matindi ang init sa labas, our bond remains strong dahil yan ang totoong forever. Maaasahan kahit anuman ang panahon. Dahil kayo ang aming mga ka-forever, we will give you always make every moment dito sa DOS TV Special. Ako po si Jal Miranda, ang inyong bagong ka-online at ka-forever. We welcome you to DOS TV, the Filipino Weather Channel, your newest and most comprehensive real-time authority on the latest weather updates. Dahil weather lang ang laging nandyan, tag-araw man o tag-ulan, hindi nangiiwan kahit sino ka man. Remember that folks, it's DOS TV, the Filipino Weather Channel. Reporting live from Pag-asa Weather and Flood Forecasting Center. Ang DOS TV ay mapapanood ninyo Mondays to Fridays, 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Dito lang sa www.dostv.ph. And for today's episode, we will get to know about two line agencies of DOST. Yan ay ang PTRI at ang MIRDC. Ano nga ba ang mga objectives ng mga office na ito? At ano ang kani-kanilang programa para sa atin? Alamin yan mamaya. At syempre, andyan pa rin yung trending natin na segment, ang Hugot Panahon sa What's the Weather with You. May mga bagong hugot kaya? Kaya tutok lang dito sa DOS TV. So, ano kaya naghihintay sa atin ngayong araw na ito? Heto ng ating Pag-asa correspondent, Miss Loridine de la Cruz. Miss Loridine, kamusta po ang magiging lagay ng panahon?
Thank you, Ms. Jel, at good morning din po sa inyo at sa viewers ng DOS TV. STV. Para naman sa magiging lagay ng ating panahon ngayong araw ng Lunes, asahan pa rin po natin na ang easterlies o ito po yung warm at humid air na nanggagaling sa dagat Pasipiko ay patuloy na makakaapekto sa silangang bahagi ng Luzon at ng Visayas. Samantalang sa katigbugang bahagi naman ng Mindanao ay yung ITZZ o yung tinatawag nating Intertropical Convergence Zone. Kaya't asahan pa rin po natin ang maulap na kalangitan na may mahina hanggang sa katamtamang mga pagulan at pagkidlat-pagkulog sa buong Mindanao, Silangang Kabisayaan, Kabikulan at mga lalawigan ng Aurora, Quezon, maging sa Cagayan at Isabela. Kung titingnan po natin ang ating himawari image, doon po sa Luzon, ay sa silangang bahagi po ay may mga kaulapan na pwede pong magbigay ng paulan sa mga nasabing areas at katulad ng nasabi ko, ito po ay dulot ng easterlies. Bagamat sa natitirang bahagi naman ng Luzon ay generally fair weather naman po ang ating maaasahan at hindi pa rin po natin inaalis sa mga posibilidad ng mga pag-ulan, pulupulong pag-ulan at pagkidlat-pagkulog lalo na sa dakong hapon at gabi. Tingnan naman po natin ang temperature forecast dito sa Metro Manila. Tinatayang ang range po o ang agwat ng temperatura dito sa Metro Manila ay mula sa 25 hanggang sa 34 degrees Celsius. Dito naman sa Subic ay mula sa 26 hanggang sa 33 degrees Celsius at sa Puerto Princesa ay mula sa 26 hanggang 31 degrees Celsius. Tingnan naman po natin dito sa Kabisayaan, halos silangang portion o silangang bahagi lamang po ang maulap. At sa natitirang bahagi ay bahagyang maulap hanggang sa maulap na kalangitan po ang pwede nating ma-expect sa araw na ito. Ang agwat ng temperatura sa Tacloban ay mula sa 25 hanggang sa 32 degrees Celsius, habang sa Cebu naman ay mula sa 26 hanggang sa 32 degrees Celsius. Sa Mindanao po, kung makikita natin sa ating image ay talagang maulap na po ngayon. Dulot po yan ng Intertropical Convergence Zone. At ang agwat pa rin ng temperatura sa Davao ay mula sa 25 hanggang sa 32 degrees Celsius. Sa Zamboanga City naman ay mula sa 25 hanggang sa 33 degrees Celsius. Sa ngayon ay wala naman tayong gale warning na nakataas sa anumang bahagi ng ating mga baybaying dagat, kaya inaalaw naman po ng Philippine Coast Guard na pumalaot ang ating mga kababayang mangingisda sa araw na ito. Bagamat pinag-iingat pa rin po natin ang ating mga kababayang mangingisda doon sa parte o sa dulong hilaga ng Luzon dahil maging katamtaman hanggang sa maalon po doon ang ating karagatan. Yan po muna ang latest mula dito sa Pag-asa. Ito po si Loridine de la Cruz.
And for exclusive content na dito nyo lang sa DOS TV makikita, here's our hydrologist, Mr. Danilo Flores, for the dam water level report.
Good morning, Jel, at saka sa tagapakinig ng DOS TV. Unang-una, alamin natin yung mga lokasyon ng ating dams dito sa Luzon na minumonitor natin dito sa Pag-asa. Yung ating Magat Dam, kapaloob sa Cagayan River Basin, nasa Isabela siya. Ang ating Agno River Basin, kung saan tatlo ang dams na hinuhost nito. Sa pinakamataas, yung Binga. Sa baba ng Binga, nandiyon ang Ambuklaw Dam. Sa baba ng Ambuklaw, nandiyon San Roque Dam. Series of dams ito, Jel. Ito naman sa ating Pampanga River Basin, sa upstream, andun yung Pantabangan Dam. Yung sa baba, nandiyan yung Angat Dam. So ito yung mga dams na minumonitor natin dito sa Luzon. Tingnan natin yung kanilang level as of 6 o'clock this morning. Yung ating Angat Dam, napapansin natin na tuloy-tuloy yung pagbaba. Ang binababa niya as of 6 o'clock this morning is negative 20 centimeters. Compared mo kahapon na 36, so medyo bahagya siyang humina sa pagbaba. Siguro naramdaman na niya yung pag-ulan sa lugar. Yung ating Pantabangan Dam, kung saan nakapaloob doon sa Pampanga River Basin, mapapansin natin na bumababa ang bahagya. Tuloy-tuloy ang pagbaba, downtrend. So ang ating San Roque Dam, kung saan series nga ito, na sinasabi ko kanina, bumababa siya ng negative 38. So ibig sabihin, 38 centimeters ang binababa, halos consistent siya sa kanyang pagbaba. Ang ating Magat Dam, kung nasa Cagayan River Basin ito, tuloy-tuloy sa pagbaba, mapapansin ninyo, mabilis ang pagbaba niya dahil maliit lang yung reservoir, malaki yung kanyang watershed. So ito yung mga trend natin sa ating dams as of this morning, tuloy-tuloy sa kanilang pagbaba. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa nakakaramdam ng pag-ulan. So, mula dito sa Hydromet Division ng Pag-asa, si Daniel Flores ang inyong taga-report.
Noong nakaraang linggo ay sumabog ang Mount Canlaon at Mount Bulusan. Alamin po natin ang latest updates tungkol sa mga pagsabog na ito. Another exclusive content brought to you by DOS TV. Nandito po si Director Renato Solidum.
Hi Jel, good morning. Over the weekend, nagkaroon ng pagsabog sa dalawang bulkan na ating binabantayan. Una, yung Canlaon Volcano sa Negros Island noong Sabado. At nung linggo naman, ang Bulusan Volcano sa Sorsogon. Sa Canlaon Volcano, nagkaroon ng pagsabog at ito ay nagtagal ng 27 minuto. Nakitaan natin ng tatlong distinct na eruption o explosion ng bulkan. Una, nagkaroon ng pagsabog na nagdulot ng 1.5 kilometers na taas na grayish-white eruption column. Sumunod kaagad ang paglabas ng 500-meter eruption column na maitim, ibig sabihin maraming abo. At kasunod nito ay isa pang 500-meter eruption column na grayish-white naman. Ang mga abo ay pinadpad papuntang kanlurang bahagi ng Canlaon Volcano sa ilang barangay ng La Carlota City, ganun din ang ilang barangay ng La Castellana at Bago City. Itong mga pagsabog ng Canlaon Volcano ay dulot po hindi ng pag-akyat ng magma, kundi yung groundwater o originally tubig ulan ay pumapasok sa loob ng bulkan at inaabot ang mainit na bato sa ilalim nito at kapag biglang na-convert sa steam ang tubig, ay nagkakaroon ng pressure at sumasabog. Ang Bulusan Volcano naman ay sumabog alauna ng hapon ng linggo. Maliit lamang ang eruption column na naidulot nito, 300 meters high. Kaya hindi ito masyadong nagpakita ng pagbagsak ng abo sa mga barangays na malayo na sa tuktok ng bulkan. Ang dalawang volcano na po na ito ay nagsimulang sumabog pa noong last year. Nauna ang Bulusan Volcano, May 2015. At ang Canlaon Volcano ay nagsimulang sumabog noong November 2015. So, pasulput-sulput po ito. At ang importante po, paalala sa ating mga kababayan, na huwag pumasok sa 4 na kilometro na permanent danger zone, lalong-lalo na doon sa tuktok ng volcano. Kasi kapag sumabog ito, delikado po ang nasa danger zone, lalong-lalo na sa tuktok kasi maliban sa abo ay bato ay naiitsa pa rin. Maliban dyan, pinapaalala po natin sa mga nagpapalipad ng mga eroplano na huwag nagpalipad mismo doon sa tuktok ng bulkan o sa ibabaw nito kasi delikado ang abo sa mga jet engines at baka ito ay mag-fail. At ganoon din po sa mga kababayan natin na inaabot ng pagbagsak ng abo, sikapin na huwag malanghap ang pinong abo, takpan ng ilong ng mga mask, basang panyo o damit. At pagkatapos po ng pagbagsak ng apoy, linisin kaagad ang kapaligiran upang hindi mapadpad uli ng hangin. Ito po si Renato Solidum, nagmumula po dito sa Volcano Monitoring and Eruption Prediction Division ng DOST FIVOX. Goodbye.
Sa mga ka-forever natin na malapit sa mga nasabing bulkan, ingat po kayo lahat dyan, stay safe. Samantala, katulong natin ang DOST para sa pagunlad ng ating bansa. Marami silang proyekto para sa mamamayang Pilipino. Alamin dito sa DOST TV Flash Report. Ang Small Enterprise Technology Upgrading Program o SETUP ng Department of Science and Technology ay isa sa mga mahahalagang programa ng kagawaran upang mapalago ang produksyon at mapataas ang kalidad ng mga produkto ng mga maliliit na negosyo sa bansa, lalo na sa mga lalawigan gamit ang siyensya at teknolohiya. Isa sa mga natulungan ng setup sa Region 8 sa Visayas ay ang TOPS Handmade Products, isang progresibong negosyo sa Tanawan, Leyte na gumagawa ng mga handbags at traveling bags at iba't iba pang leather goods. Ang TOPS ay nakatanggap ng tulong mula sa DOST Region 8 para sa Innovation System Support, katulong ang Philippine Textile Research Institute para matutunan ang advanced natural fiber dyeing, bleaching at mold protection sa mga ginagamit na materyales tulad ng tikog. Nakatanggap din ng tulong ang TOPS para makabili sila ng Industrial Heavy Duty Stitching Machine at sumailalim sa programang Manufacturing Productivity Extension o MPEX para mapataas ang produksyon ng kumpanya. Dahil sa tulong ng DOST, ang TOPS ay napaganda ang takbo ng operasyon ng 50%, napababa naman ang production cost ng hanggang 25%, at tumaas ang kita ng 50%. Nagtala ng humigit kumulang sa 2.3 million pesos ang kanilang benta noong 2012 at nakapagbigay ng trabaho sa 144 na katao. To maintain its 5-year accreditation with the International Standards Organization or ISO, the FPRDI Pulp and Paper Testing Laboratory, or FPPTL, was given a makeover last year. Likewise, the FPPTL's Technical Operations Procedure, Document Control Forms, and Work Instructions for measuring chemical properties of paper were prepared and the procedures validated against ISO methods. Along with the furniture and plywood testing laboratories, the FPPTL is among the 3 FPRDI facilities recognized by their respective client industries as national testing centers. They are furnished with state-of-the-art equipment and manned by personnel who are able to provide reliable test data delivered on time. Library in a Box. Yan ang Starbooks, isang nakakabilib na programa ng DOST. Alamin yan sa susunod na video.
We live in an era where information is acquired and exchanged at our fingertips, and in an instant. As such, the idea of going to a physical library where needed information has become rather dreary and outdated. But what use is a wealth of knowledge, especially in the fields of science and technology, if it is available only to those in the urban and suburban communities, or the ones privileged with connectivity? In the Philippines, a huge percentage of our population has yet to access the internet, and what is usually online are basic, general information that are quite limited. The Science and Technology Information Institute of the Department of Science and Technology has made S&T knowledge within easy reach through its virtual library in a box. This is the Science and Technology Academic Research-Based Openly Operated Kiosk System, better known as Starbooks. Launched on June 24, 2011, Starbooks was envisioned to make S&T information for the grassroots, the library users in far-flung communities. Starbooks is encased in a pod which holds two computer units, one as the server and the other as the terminal. With thousands of digitized S&T resources in its system, Starbooks has become a treasure trove of science and technology products and research materials, scientific journals, instructional videos, and other learning tools, practically for everyone. The first few Starbooks were installed in 11 identified sites in Davao and Zamboanga. The following year, Starbooks found its way to 114 sites, 44 of which were in partnership with the Department of Education Regional Office in Leyte. In 2013, the Starbooks resources were greatly enhanced when the offline version of the Encyclopedia Britannica was integrated into the system and was made available in 103 more sites. In 2014, after setting up 134 new kiosk sites, Starbooks has already covered all 17 regions in the country. It was also in this same year that Starbooks was invited for a paper presentation at the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions held in France. Halfway through 2015, Starbooks sites in schools, public libraries, and government agencies already reached a total of 650 kiosks nationwide as of date. Starbooks has gained the approval and appreciation of local government units, and more sites are being programmed this year. Even as it is already nominated for the Civil Service Commission's Hero and Public Servant Award, Starbooks has attracted the attention of international library community. In June 2015, STII's Starbooks received the Presidential Citation for Innovative International Library Projects of 2015 from the American Library Association. The award was conferred to DOST-STII for making science and technology materials available to the general public in remote areas that have few information resources, no libraries, and little or no internet connectivity. In the future, Starbooks is envisioned to create more impact to its target publics by beefing up its content collections. The volume and quality of collections will be enhanced to serve as teachers' tool in science and technology education, and even allow the users to store pertinent information about their area or community through the Citizens Archiving feature of Starbooks. Current target is to set up 1,000 additional kiosks this year, and Starbooks will even have an online version to expand library users' resources and experience. Starbooks, breaking barriers to S&T knowledge and connectivity.
One of the mandates of the Philippine Textile Research Institute, or PTRI, as a line agency of the Department of Science and Technology, or DOST, is to undertake the transfer of completed research to end users or via linkage units of other government agencies through the transfer of the developed technologies to end users in the textile industry sector and textile-based cottage, small and medium-scale industries. It is hoped that new textile-based industries in the countryside would be developed. Most of the technologies presented here could be availed of through on-the-job training and or seminar workshops offered by the Institute. Seminar or workshops are done in-house or throughout the regions and provinces. We are deeply honored here in DOS TV as we welcome our guest for today. She has an MA in Values Education from University of Asia and the Pacific. She is an advocate of education and social enterprise. Currently, she is the director of PTRI. Let us all welcome Director Celia B. Elumba. Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good
Doc.
morning. Good morning.
And welcome to DSTV.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting
And
me.
we are honored, of course, nakasama ka namin ngayong umaga.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. We're always happy to talk about textiles. Anything to do with textiles, Philippine textiles, count us in.
Ayan, talaga. Siyempre, ma'am, ito nga nakikita na natin ng iba't ibang fabric and textiles na nandito. Pero simulan natin, ano ba talagang storya behind PTRI? Anong objective dito nung binuo talaga?
You know, of course, I wasn't there when it happened, right?
Okay.
That was 49 years ago. So the Philippine Textile Research Institute is going to celebrate its 50th founding anniversary in 2017.
Okay.
49 years ago, we had a very robust, very commercial, very industrialized sector in textiles. We probably had over 100 textile manufacturers. So they had thought to themselves, we cannot keep up with this business if we do not have any engagements in R&D. We have to have a way of having new technologies, new innovations. So even at that time, they knew that to be competitive in the world market, it was the beginning of globalization. That was when markets were opening up. They thought that they could put in 1% of their revenues, put it into a fund, and from that fund, they can then start getting together, have simple meetings, have simple conferences. And so that was the beginning. Government sort of did a counterpart, and government decided that, yeah, it's time. We should really put together all of our industry players. So way back, it was really coming from the private sector, the industry partners, the stakeholders, that sort of put into focus textile developments. And PTRI was born from that time on.
Okay, so kasi tayo, ma'am, syempre, di ba, nakita natin yung buhay ng mga gumagawa talaga nitong mga fabric na ito, di ba? So since then, ang PTRI nakatulong sa mga mamamayan.
I would like to think so. First of all, when we talk about the textile industry, we really have to make a distinction.
Okay.
We call it the left and the right. We need both hands, right? On the right side, you have your handful of commercial millers. Kung 49 years ago, we had about over 150, 140 textile manufacturers. Today, I regret to say we have a handful, and there are many reasons for it. We were coming from a very protected sector at the time. The US dollar exchange rate was very low, and so a lot of them, when it was time to recapitalize or to bring in new equipment, updated equipment, they borrowed against the US dollars. So nung nag-iba na yung exchange rate, of course, biglang lumaki yung
Yes,
loans
totoo
nila.
yan.
No? So a lot of them had to fold shop. They had to go under. And so many people had closed up. There were many other issues, cost of power. There were those considerations. There was an influx of too much imported materials because the markets opened up. So it was not in favor of local textile production. So on the right side today, I have to say that we have really just a handful of them in the woven or the spinning side. On the knitting side, mas marami sila. But on the left side, you have to recognize, and unfortunately they are largely unheralded or unrecognized, we have thousands perhaps of handloom weavers, and we consider them a very important, very viable part, or at this point informal part of our sector. But we know them. We know our manghahabis. We know all of them from across the regions of a country. They're the first that you will think of when you think of Philippine textiles kasi traditional eh. So nakakonect din yan sa ecotourism. People who come to visit the country, they will look at what is available in the marketplace, and normally you will have traditional weaves in the regions. So today we have to say that we have both the traditional weavers, our handloom weaving communities, and we also have the scale of our commercial, more industrialized, higher volume, higher capacity hand spinning, or rather spinning equipment, spinning machines, factories.
Pero hindi natin inaalis yung traditional
Hindi natin
way.
yan pwedeng alisin. Dito naman, gumagawa kami ng distinction.
Okay.
We did say that we have the handloom weaving communities, but we must make a distinction as well. Tatlo yung nakikita namin of fork on the road. On the left is you will have our cultural, our ethnic, regional, that they do this for their own purposes. They do it for the use of the elders, when they have rituals, when they have celebrations. And on the right side, the real traditional handloom weavers, these are your mothers, your women, di ba? They do this in between chores. They do this in between harvest season and between planting season, between pag pinapakulo na yung pagkain niya o nagluluto siya, di ba? So when the kids are asleep, they do the weaving. It was a way to support their households. It was a way to clothe themselves and at the same time generate a bit more income to support the family income. What we are looking at and what we have, because we want it to be very sustainable as a business concept, are the weavers who will really work in a centralized point of operation.
Yes.
Parang opisina nila to. Kumbaga sa factory, ito yung kanilang factory na papasokan nila every day, and they will do the handloom weaving as they had always known it to be, but they are committed to produce the same quality product, high good quality product, with consistency, very stable materials. And we want this because you have to be able to address market. You want your consumers to feel very comfortable that if you commit to them, you can deliver and you will be able to deliver to the right standards. Ang aming message sa kanila, the world is such that there should be no distinction between domestic and exports.
Yes.
Alam mo, ang ating sentiments on exports is pag sinabi mong exports, it's very good quality. Pag sinabi mong imports, it's also very good quality. Pero pag sinabi mong gawa sa Pilipinas, sometimes our notion is, I don't want to pay so much money kasi
Yes.
hindi yan, oy, bakit ang mahal naman yan? Dito lang naman sa atin yan. But that shouldn't be the case. So our message to everyone is kapag domestic, it should withstand the quality requirements or the standards that you would require or demand of an imported product or an export for export only product. There should be no distinction. They should be the same.
Considering na it's for export talaga, di ba? Makikita natin na good quality talaga.
It should be.
At saka mismo tayo dapat tumatangkilik.
Exactly. At saka matatangkilik mo yon kasi we have to demand it. Hindi porke gawa sa Pilipinas, imamandato mo na bilhin mo kasi gawa sa atin. No, bibilhin mo siya kasi it's as good, if not better. Tapos ang added value, it adds to the economy of the country. So medyo may konti ka rin na social consciousness. But at the same time, you must be able to say, well, I will not be timid about buying this because, hey, it's good product.
Yes.
It's made in the Philippines, good product. Those are two good things to do. But I have to say, if it's not good, you don't have to buy it. You shouldn't buy it. So you must also only honor and respect. Ito amo na to, sa sarili mo to, it's your own pride.
Yes.
Na I will value whatever has value, and I will consider. So you balance it. You are looking for the same quality standards as you would for any product in the marketplace. But if it is made in the Philippines, the more you should be patronizing it.
And we should be proud of
Yes.
about our products, di ba?
Yes.
What
Yes.
is Telenation, ma'am?
Well, Telenation, you're aware that the DOST has a science nation. We would like to make of our country very much driven by science because a lot of growth can come from the innovations that science and technology can bring. So for us, it's really our own ode to our own DOST view on science nation. But at the same time, it's our own ode to say that it's time that we look at TELA as a nation and come together in an advocacy of supporting our own TELA developments. Nang mabanggit ko lang, ang TELA sa amin, hindi lang ibig sabihin TELA as in our own language for fabric, no?
Yes.
or textile. TELA for us is an acronym. An acronym to mean Textiles Empowering Lives Anew. It's really our way of saying, we hark back to the days of 18th century England. In 18th century England, ito kasi yung birthplace of the textile industry. Wala naman noong kuryente. There was no power. There was no steel. It was still in the development process. So everything was really made by hand. Everything was made by wood in materials of wood. Nothing that was. So when we look at it, it's like, wow, they were able to derive a huge, humongous industry out of what they had. And
Walang
I
makina.
think walang makina, walang kuryente. So I think if we consider that, then there's a lot that we can do, taking from the same concepts. So for us, if that powered and that generated England at the time, it can do the same for us, for our country. And we feel that this is a very natural integration between agriculture and manufacturing or industry. And at the same time, we feel that this is probably one of those, when you look at inclusive growth, this is one of those good candidates to really work on inclusive growth because it comes from the soil. That's one of our concepts. We're looking at soil to skin or farm to fashion. Parang, diba, in slow food movement, you have from farm to table.
Yes.
Ito, slow fashion movement. Because that's what we have. So we're not looking for the things we do not have, as in large-scale commercial manufacturing of polyesters. Kasi to begin with, that comes from petrochemical, and we have no petrochemical industry. But instead, we're an agricultural country, 70% agricultural. So we have so much produced in the countrysides. Others are byproducts, waste material. The waste from pineapple after you've harvested the fruit, or the banana after you've taken the fruit, or the water lily, which really has to be taken out of the waterways or the system. So we have these things that we think we should be in a position to convert into something more useful with higher value, and which the communities, wherever this products are grown or coming from, they should be in a good position to convert wherever they are from. Hindi na siya kailangan ng malalaking scale.
Yes, tama yun. Kasi iba akala natin waste na di ba? Pwede pa i-convert ito in a good materials pa.
Yes.
Like this one, itong mga fabrics na nandito, ma'am, sample lang natin. Ito is made up of.
Well, there are two things that I wanted to showcase here. No, this one is a material that comes from banana. Of course,
Okay.
it has polyester, and we're not knocking polyester. We
Yes.
think that there's always good merit and good value in everything. So, except that banana, we have like over maybe 500,000 hectares that's grown to banana, and we're not utilizing the waste materials from banana. So there are possibilities. This is just one, and this is hand loom woven. We have products in our office that are machine or power loomed already, and they are more wearable. Ito yung mga mainstream fashion. We'd like to be able to see us wear them, for example. This is a yarn. You know, it's not so simple to make yarns kasi. We think that it's just a matter of getting it from the fiber, and then we can, because that's how they did it in the olden days, we can hand spindle them or hand spin them. But this one is of interest because we're now looking at yarn that is made of abaca and cotton. The cotton is also Philippine-grown cotton.
Mas
So,
matibay yan.
because abaca, to begin with, is very strong, right? Ang objective natin dito, magamit natin to doon sa lengthwise or what we call the warp. Pag nagamit mo kasi yan sa warp, tapos papasok yung, it's an in and out interlacing. So pag papasok na yung iyong filling material, you will now be able to derive a fabric that would be more than 30 or 40% made of an indigenous material. It's an easy statement to make, but seriously, we have a law, itong PTF natin, Philippine Tropical Fabric Law. That's RA 9242. The law is asking that we use materials for our own government purposes that has 5% Philippine tropical fabric composition. 5% is nothing. That's
Yes,
very
definitely.
little, very little. So, but the challenge is, hindi kasi kaya ng mga hibla natin, ng mga sinulid natin,
yes.
hindi nila ma-withstand yung tension pag nag-weave ka na. So, ang challenge ng Philippine Textile Research Institute, how can we bridge a supply gap? Paano natin mabibigyan ng kasagutan yung something that is captive audience na the law says government office officials, employees should be able to wear this. Eh kaso walang supply, walang sinulid, walang tela. Walang tela kasi walang sinulid. It's a brilliant law because the law says it has to be produced in the country. I tell you, that's brilliant because it forces, it should, that's the idea, it should force us to come up with something of our own. Hindi yung, eto yung fiber, padala natin sa ibang bansa, doon na lang nila ispin, tapos ibalik dito, tapos habihin natin, ihabi natin. No, the law says everything has to be done here. And I applaud that. Kasi it forces us. And it already did something very concrete and very positive. Merong isa na kaya na niyang gawin dito sa Pilipinas yung proseso. So sa amin naman, gusto naming tugunan yung the lack of the yarn. So we are, of course, a research and development institute. So we have been working on these yarns. Abaca is one of them, water hyacinth is another, banana is another, pineapple leaf is another. So we are now on our 70% cotton or polyester blended with 30% of those indigenous materials. Of course, madali yung 10, madali yung 20, na doon kami sa 30. Kasi hahanapin mo yung
Correct,
optimum. Hindi naman din may natural properties din
Yes,
naman
opo.
yung hibla natin na hanggang doon lang siya dapat kasi beyond that, hindi na siya optimal, hindi na siya maximize yung properties.
Pero usually, ma'am, yung mga ganyang product, sino mga nakikinabang? Sabihin, saan natin na isusupply?
This is again, I think it's a very nice proposition. Kasi part of what we have done, kinoconnect namin yung dots and this is what I think is what we are a little short
Okay.
on as a country, as a people, no? Ang dami nating mga strengths and different developments in many different parts, pero hindi connected yung
Yes.
dots. So here, what we did, we engaged a project. I have to tell you, this particular project is the least funding, but it's the closest to heart kasi I love social enterprise and how we can enable countryside development. Itong project na to, we identified 10 handloom weaving innovation centers across regions in the country. So it was a first 10, and then through the support of Senator Lauren Legarda, she gave us additional funds, and we were able to now support another 5. So now there are 15 regional handloom innovation centers from the northern part of Luzon to the southern part of Mindanao. The idea is we provide them with upgraded equipment. These are equipment that have certain innovations, certain tweaks that allow them to have more productivity, to increase the stability and the consistency of the product. And we provide them with a quarter year's supply, 3 months worth of materials using our indigenous materials, or even 100% cotton coming from the Philippines, that they can weave with. And the beauty of that is we also try to connect them to our regional natural dye facilities. Because natural dye is also something that we are very, very close to heart, because we have so much biodiversity here. The country is so rich. We have over 100 plant dye sources. So we located 8 of these natural dyeing facilities also across the country, very near to where the regional weaving centers are. The idea is to cluster them. So whatever you need to make a product can all be accessed in that one area, and you can produce from there. No need to go to the city to, have these things done. So as much as possible, that's what we want. Of course, they are in a small scale. We're not yet in the big scale, because that's what the communities can
Yes,
adapt. So, syempre, di ba, dahan-dahan lang, baka mabigla
Baby step
masyado,
na daw.
baby steps. So, but it already has enough scale. So this women, or this community of enterprising women, are already scattered, and we've also linked them up, or we are linking them up with the supply and the value chain. So the supply comes from us through this one, but we want them to be handheld to a certain point only. So we're also providing them with business skills.
Okay.
This one naman is through the courtesy of the Philippine Commission on Women. So talagang we're finding a lot of cooperation.
Partner agencies
Because at the end of the day, you may have addressed one part of the problem, but you know that it is not the only problem. So may problema ka sa equipment mo, may problema ka sa supply ng sinulid mo, pero alam mo rin that they do not have the, the background, the exposure. Yun lang maggawa ng product sheet para pag may nag-order sa'yo, sa susunod na pag-order ng same thing, magagawa mo siya exactly the same as what they ordered. Because right now, that's the problem. Yung technical competence, medyo challenged. That's one of the things we have to introduce. If you say it's 36-inch wide, ilang warp threads ang ilalatag mo para masigurado mong may 36-inch wide ka. Hindi to pareho nung
Ganun kabusisi.
magluluto ka ng spaghetti.
Oo, yes.
Isang grasp mo, isang fistful, that's one serving. Hindi, kailangan precise. Kasi kung wala kang precision, hindi mo siya mauulit to the very exact same thing
From the top.
that you did it from the beginning.
Correct.
And this is, if I were a buyer, I will be very concerned. Paano kung yan ay meron akong pinramis na hindi yan uurong or hindi yan madaling mapupunit kasi the density is such. Paano mo yun paninindigan?
Baka kasi isang suot ko pa lang, nilaban ko, wala na.
Or pagtahi pa
Naging
lang,
small na.
nabutas na. O ganon,
Yes.
exactly. So, kailangan introduce natin yung mga standards na yun. And I think this is where science and technology comes in.
Ayan na.
I think this is where science becomes very practical, it's
Yes.
very applicable, it's something that people do every day, but which we don't really realize, but we apply it every day.
Katulad na banggit nyo kanina, si Senator Lauren Legarda, it's one way na may promote itong mga ganitong klase, Ma'am, na product, materials na gawa ng mga indigenous people sa Pilipinas, hindi ba, Ma'am?
Yes. So, ito rin, kanina, nabanggit ko na itong dalawa, on
Yes
the
po.
fabric side, Ito na sa hobby side, na sa weave side. This particular product, it's really a very simple backpack, but the material was done by a group of women who were formerly overseas Filipino workers in Japan. So they decided, ayaw ko nang umalis. What do I do? What can I do? So they're actually Manila-based. So for people who are interested to do any domestic or any local manufacture of materials or handloom woven, then this community is in Manila. But having said that, we have many of them across the country, and they all have specialization.
Okay,
Like this is Region
this one.
1. You know that this is Ilocos, the Binacol or the
Binacol.
Inabel material. So they are already very well known. In fact, Ilocos is going to be a very interesting, in my opinion, going to be very interesting development for us, because meron na kaming 3 handloom weaving innovation centers in that area, and we also have a natural dyeing facility there, and they have now planted themselves to non-BT cotton.
Okay.
So papalawakin yung production of non-BT cotton. Those are all exciting, and in the end, what we would like to see happen, we want to be able to help them make those fibers into yarn. So we're also looking at a project right now. It's not yet, it's in the conceptual stage, but the idea is we'd like them to be able to have their own micro or mini spinning facility, so they can do their own yarns. They don't have to go elsewhere, but they can do it themselves, and then produce everything from there, wear it, and then intra-trade or inter-trade, inter-island trading, or, that would be the thing that I think would be very inclusive in the whole exercise.
Yes, that
We'd
would be
love to see
exciting
that
yan.
happen.
Makakatulong pa talaga tayo sa mga Pilipino, di ba? Let's say
Yes.
yung OFW, hindi mo na kailangan mga ibang bansa, dito ka na lang, makakatulong ka pa sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, di ba?
yes, oo.
Anyway, what is this Technology Transfer Day?
Oh, we had that about 2 months ago. This was the first that was done by the DOSC, the agency.
Okay po.
It was an opportunity to share with the public all of the technologies. I think there were 79 that were featured. And we were lucky to have 4 of ours featured in the Technology Transfer Day. Natural dye was what we promoted. And in essence, just like the National Science and Technology Week, this is a very good way for the agency to engage the public. Because like it or not very many are aware of the good developments that are happening in government, and particularly in the Department of Science and Technology.
Sino-sino yung mga participants dito, ma'am, sa transfer technology?
All of the agencies were actually represented, but what was more important were the private sector partners. We had, I think if I'm not mistaken, nearly 1,000 people came, about 700, 800 people came to the Technology Transfer Day. It was a fantastic opportunity to showcase everything that the agencies did, from the food innovation centers to the regional yarn innovation centers, or the innovation center for yarns and textiles. So that was a very, very pleasant day that we had with private sector. So we did a presentation of what these offerings are. So
Alam niyo, ma'am, di ba, balikan lang natin, nakita natin kung yung mga ibang kababayan natin, yung pag-hobby, tama ba? Yung,
yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Oo, yun. Sobrang hirap.
Yes.
Kasi nakita ko kung gaano kasinsen, per sinulid pala yun.
Yes.
Mayroon pang,
The
yun nga.
filling in yung
Parang sabi ko,
weft, or the
iba-ibang
filling
kembot,
lines.
parang ganun
Oo,
nga.
oo,
Oo.
yes.
Sobrang hirap. So, yung ibang mga tao dun, ma'am, kasama ba yun sa mga, halimbawa, tinitrain natin na parang ma-upgrade din naman yung
Oh,
kanilang
yes.
sistema sa paggawa?
Sa paghahabi. Actually, nung nagbigay kami ng equipment sa kanila, kasama dun sa package na yon is a training or retraining, kasi they already know how to weave, but we need to train them into the more
Yes.
scientific manner.
Yes.
We gave them a basic training as well as an advanced training. So, sa advanced training, pwede ka nang mag-introduce ng design. Meron ka nang pwedeng gawin na different variations in the design of the fabric.
Iba't ibang pattern na.
Yeah, may iba ng pattern. So, in addition to that, meron din kaming training on natural dyes as well as basic advanced dyeing techniques. And yung nabanggit ko kanina with the help of the Philippine Commission on Women, we're doing, we did a teaser for 20 guys from the 10 communities. We had 2 of them come. And that was very, it was very heartwarming. Kasi for me, parang I felt it was one of those few occasions when the weavers were brought to the city for them to be students. Not for them to display, not for them to exhibit, not for them to sell, not for them to demonstrate. Pero sila, umupo sila as estudyantes, nag-aaral sila. And we just wanted to have a feel if it was something that was appealing to them. Kasi baka naman akala lang namin. So we wanted to validate na, are you interested? Is this something of interest to them? And we started with that the technology side. In the technology side, we of the 20, only 2 got the correct answer on how to compute the number of warp threads na ilalatag mo for a certain width. So it was a signal that yes, we should be giving them more technological trainings para ma-duplicate consistently.
Yung ganun, ma, meron pa talagang mga competitions yun?
Meron yun.
Really?
Oo. So widow lahat sila, natuto sila from their grandmothers, nakita nila sa nanay nila. So inuulit lang nila yung nakita nila, pero wala siya talagang formal or how do you say, wala siya talagang formal curriculum. So in saying that, we also have a partnership with TESDA. We're asking for standardization of the training. So balikan ko lang yung aming Tela Matters. Dun sa Tela Matters, so isa yung technical side. Pero we also invited Dom Martin Gomez. He is a Benedictine monk. He used to be the famous Kang Gomez about 25 years ago. And he was really a high fashion, high society couture or fashion designer. And he talked about product development. We had Ben Tesoro, Isabel Tesoro of the Tesoros Group of Companies speak about market development. We had Patrice Ramos Diaz, she's a designer, speak about design development. So different processes. And we had Professor Nestor Reñeses speak about sustainable business concepts. So we wanted to know if this had any appeal or any usefulness for our communities. You have to realize they're coming from the provinces, may mga IPs kami nakasamahan doon. Wow, they were very thrilled. One was very emotional because she felt that there was much to learn and that she was actually learning something. And she also said that she realized the meaning when someone said, "A culture needs progress."
Yes.
She realized that, wow, we do need to go beyond what we are doing at this stage, because if not, mamamatay yung aming kultura, mamamatay yung aming tradisyon kung hindi namin siya kayang sustentuhan. So that's a concept that we want them to be aware of. You have to make money. You don't make money, the young people are not going to want to do this. Bakit naman kung wala naman silang pagkakakitaan dyan?
Yung iba kasi parang ano lang hobby ko na lang to eh.
Okay lang yun kung hobby, pero ang expectation mo, hindi ka dapat, you know, you don't feel bad na
Mas
wala
lumayo
kang...
ka pa siguro,
Oo.
mas, di ba, i-level up nga ika nga.
Oo.
Anyway, what is let us talk about PTRI walkthrough with the Korean
About the
Development
Koreans,
Institute.
yeah. You know, in 2014, we had a BCDA-funded benchmarking
Yes,
capability building project. And so we went to Korea, the Korea Textile Development Institute. Kung ang Philippine Textile Research Institute is very steeped and very strong in natural fiber, that's our advocacy, sila naman very strong in functional, industrial, very high technical kinds of materials. So we wanted to find out what it is that we can learn from them. So in 2015, we had a memorandum of understanding with them. And this year, they decided to come to the Philippines after they invited me last year to give a talk on natural materials. So two of the people in that conference, it was an international conference, got very excited over our developments in natural fibers and also natural dye. And that's why they came. They wanted to understand what we have in the Philippines, what can we do, and we were a little bit overwhelmed because they were very interested to get our raw materials. And I said, you know, to begin with, we are technology generators, we are technology suppliers, we are not raw material suppliers.
Okay.
We would like you to come and do the processing here with us, because at the end of the day, we ourselves have very good use for these materials. So bago natin yan ilalabas, sana meron tayo namang konting transformation para mas tumaas yung value. And you're not just sending them the chips or the fiber or the, you know, the
Yes,
staple or the
tama.
filament. So sana naman may konti pang development that is added. And we also learn, may take away rin tayo. They teach us, they eventually can come, do an investment and set up some kind of a processing facility
That's a
here.
good thing.
We would love to see that happen. And so these guys, we were very pleased because they seem to be good people,
Yes.
genuinely wanting to help. And yeah, we were very happy with the quality, or with the
So
guys.
still in the process pa.
They just left yesterday, actually.
Oh.
So we're now
Final
in the
na ba,
process.
ma'am, usapan?
Hindi, marami kaming talking points.
Okay.
So we have to go back and forth because it cannot happen overnight. They wanted this to be running in 3 to 6 months' time. But we think that the technology has to be worked on with private sector partner, and the private sector partner has to be their supplier, not the government agency.
Ayun. Since nandito kayo ngayon, Director ng PTRI ngayon, ano nakikita nyo siguro 5 to 10 years from now? Ano ng status ng PTRI?
We'd like to be able to really bridge a supply gap. For example, right now we're not really producing a lot of these materials, mainly because the project is still, it just terminated, it just completed itself last March 31. So now we're in the formalization, the terminal reports and all that, no? But the actual production should be happening. When I say production, I mean, I think we have to realize that as an RDI, hindi kami na dun sa commercialization scale, but we are willing to go at it, provided that we're able to apply certain rules. Ano ba yung rules of engagement? Unang-una, projectized tayo eh. So ang budgets natin are really meant for very specific things, no? So we invite them, come, do a contract service with us. Tell us, I want this yarn. What can I do? Yeah, we can process it for you.
Okay.
And in fact, we already have some expressed interest from about 3 parties who would like to have yarns spun at the Philippine Textile Research Institute. We would be very, very willing and very open to do that. Yesterday, we just had a group of visitors from the private sector. It's a design, these are young people, social entrepreneurs. Very exciting kasi ang dami ng ideas eh. And so we're really working with a lot of designers, social entrepreneurs, and they have come to us with wanting to do this, wanting to buy that, wanting to have this. And so we encourage them. We would like to be able to work and collaborate at the development of material. We're open, we're willing.
Lalo na sa mga offices, ma'am, sana na ipopromote natin na, di ba may mga uniforms sila,
Yes.
na sana itong mga products natin na nagagamit na tela mismo,
Yes.
na fabric, di ba?
Ang kailangan natin doon, yung adapter na manufacturer.
Okay.
Kasi like I said, the Philippine Textile Research Institute can produce these yarns, and we would be very, very thrilled. You know, the ideal scenario, yung aming 15 na handloom weaving innovation centers, how wonderful if the yarn we develop, the design we commit to, and the sketch, the product descriptions, and yung mga specifics we commit to, and it's sent to the regions, and they then contact directly the regional innovation centers na doon hahabihin or gagawin yung tela mismo.
Oo.
And you know, it's produced there. So that would be the ideal scenario for us. We need to have more people wanting to go into spinning, wanting to make yarns, to make textiles or fabrics, so that it can be supportive of the demand. We feel that there is a demand, but there are not enough, how do you say?
Kulang ba ang tao?
Kulang ang tao. Kulang ang manufacturers who are going into our own textile design. It's a chase. The manufacturers will tell you where's the demand,
Yes.
but the suppliers
Supply.
will tell you,
Kulang.
where's the market? So parang somewhere along the line you have to break that cycle. So we feel that's our role at this time, to produce the yarns, supply to the marketplace. Market has to adopt it so that they can address the uniform needs of a bigger audience. Not just uniform. Mabanggit ko lang yung aming regional handloom innovation centers, no? Yung part nung gusto namin, ginagawa namin doon, kinoconnect namin sa value chain. So yung isang brand, this is Power Fashion. They are the brand owners of Unica Iha, Vice Versa, and Bio.
Oh, that's
so we're
nice.
working with them on a capsule collection. Ibibigay yung design na yon, nung tela, nung material, to our community in Bagtason, in Bogasong, Antique. So what will happen is if they are able now to satisfactorily duplicate it, make it to the standards, they will produce, and may buyer na. Kumbaga, ang idea, sana yung ihahabi nila na benta na. Yun yung gusto natin. So then si Power Fashion will now make it into the capsule collection and make it available for nationwide distribution as much as the fabric can allow. Kasi we're talking about what can they do, 3,000 meters, 6,000 meters. They can do it. They can
Kaya
do it,
naman.
given a
Kaya
time
naman
frame.
pala.
Yes, they can do it. Kaya yun. And we have 15 of them. I mean, so we just have to be able to now find those connections, which is why we encourage these engagements with the design community. Basta the proviso is, give them something that they can work on, and please commit to get it if they're
Yes,
able to
tama.
do it. Para
Within
hindi naman
time
sayang
frame.
yung effort nila.
Yes, tama. Ngayon, ma'am, syempre, you're celebrating your 50th anniversary next year. Next year, di ba? Ano yung mga naka-line up na projects sa inyo?
It's
How will you
exciting.
celebrate that?
We have been doing stakeholder engagements and conferences for the last 2 years, and we
Okay.
started with Tela Serie in 2014 and 2015. In 2016, this January, we celebrated Tela Nation. So we're going to go international. So
Wow.
next year, we're going to have the international symposium and exhibition for natural dyes, one of the key programs, natural dyes, and the other is World Eco Fiber and Textiles Forum. So it's we would have a scientific, techno-scientific panel come over to do presentations, exhibits. There will be workshops. There will be fora that will be talking about these developments in the marketplace. It will be a wonderful opportunity for us to learn from them, our communities everywhere, and for them to know about the things that we are working on and the strengths of our communities. So in addition, we will have some design competitions. We will have, it's a year-long celebration.
Makikita talaga ang likhang Pinoy, di ba?
We would like to see that happen.
Sana
Yes,
nga, ma'am.
yes.
At unti-unti, siguro, panahon na para makilala talaga ang
We would like
Pilipino
to see
sa
that
mga
happen.
ganitong klase ng produktong gawang gawa sa ating mga likas na
Yes,
yaman, ika
yes.
nga, di ba? Any further words po dun sa ating mga taga-subaybay?
You know, the work of TELA is not the work of just one agency. No? The work of TELA, kaya nga we're saying Textiles Empowering Lives Anew, it really calls every one of us, Filipinos. No? Let us have a different notion of what TELA is all about for us. So we'd like to encourage everyone to keep an ear out, keep an eye out, join us for our activities, starting with the National Science and Technology Week, because this time we're going to showcase lifestyle options. So come to the DOST at this time in July. And for next year, please keep an ear out, an eye out, as I mentioned. You can connect with us through www.ptri.dost.gov.ph. So we look forward to more engagements with the public the design communities, the academic sectors, and private sector partners. Welcome to PTRI.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And looking forward tayo sa more project pa from your office. At sabi nga natin, yung mga darating pang projects from you, makilala talaga ang ganda at mga husay ng mga likhang Pilipino, likhang Pinoy materials from the Philippines. Thank
Maraming
you and more
salamat.
power,
Yes,
ma'am.
thank you very much. I'm
Thank you
happy.
and we're
Thank you.
honored na kasama namin kayo ngayon. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jen.
Ayan, mga kaibigan, nakasama natin, Director Ilumba. At syempre nakakatuwa talaga na napaka-promising ng textile industry ng ating bansa. Excited na ba kayo? Ito na ang aming mga favorite hugot tweets at FB status sa What's the Weather with You. Mula kay Maiden Tabak, kung uulan, ibuhos na, hindi yung paghihintayin pa. Tama yan, Maiden. Di ba sabi nga parang pag-ibig lang yan eh. Kapag mahal nyo ang isa't isa, iparamdam na, hindi yung paikot-ikot pa. Sabi nga, modern na ngayon, wag na magpaligoy-ligoy pa, di ba? Mula naman kay Dane Mantilla, ako'y tila ulan na laging nafo-fall, lalo na sa'yo. Ayun. Dane, mahirap din ng palaging kumbaga, control din, di ba? Hinay-hinay lang daw, sabi nga. Mas mabuti siguro kung mag-isip-isip din tayo dahil medyo may ilan na nagiging tanga nga sa pag-ibig, di ba? Kasabay ng pagtibok ng puso, sabayan mo ng tamang pag-iisip. Kaya isip-isip muna. Mula naman kay Alfie Eufemio, ang pag-ibig ko sa'yo parang snow, nanlalamig. Minsan, sa relasyon talaga na hindi laging happy, di ba? Kung ganyan, nagiging cold na siguro yung isa, may maganda may nag-i-initiate na isa para gumawa ng move. Mas maganda na bigyan ko ng lalamig na sabi nga, lagyan mo naman ng konting summer ang live life ninyo. Try nyo mag-out of town o kaya mag-dinner. Anything na mag-reminisce ng mga good memories ninyo or that will make you remember na my forever. Ayan, sana sundin naman tayo ni Alfie sa aming advice sa iyo at sana makatulong din kami dito sa DOS-TV to make people aware na my forever na naghihintay sa bawat sa atin. Kaya kayo mga ka-forever, mag-tweet lang at mag-post sa FB. #Hugot Panahon para sharing tayo ng mga hugot dito lang sa DOS-TV. MIRDC, or Metal Industry Research and Development Center. The center was primarily tasked to work for close rapport between the government and the industry in order to foster the advancement of metals, engineering, and allied industries in the country. To enlighten us more about MIRDC and its functions, please welcome our guest for today. He's a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering from UP Diliman, and he has a Master's of Science in the same course. He also has a patent for an invention from EPO Philippines for his remote control dimmable LED lamp. Currently, he's the Executive Director of the Metals Industry Research and Development Center, Department of Science and Technology. Mga ka-forever, please welcome Engineer Robert Dizon. Good morning, sir. Magandang tanghali.
Magandang tanghali na, Jel. At
Oo
magandang
nga.
tanghali din sa ating mga televiewers.
Ayan. MIRDC, metal. Kanina napag-usapan natin with Dr. Ilumba ang fabric, textile. Ito naman metal. Pag-usapan natin, paano nabuo ang MIRDC?
MIRDC was formed in 1966 through RA 4724. So, ang mandate namin is to provide both the government and private sector with professional in the metals and allied industries with professional management and technical expertise in number 1, training of engineers and technicians. Number 2, information exchange. Number 3, testing and quality control. 4, research and development. 5, tech transfer. And 6 is business economics advisory. So, yun ang mga functions ng MIRDC.
So, since 1966 na nabuong MIRDC, paano yung na-achieve yung goal nyo in advancing the metal and engineering industry ng bansa natin?
So, yun nga, ang sinasabi mo kanina, di ba, to link up with the metals industry.
Yes.
No? So, yun ang function talaga namin. Ang goal talaga namin is to make the metals and engineering industry globally competitive. So yan, ginagawa lang namin yung mga functions namin, yung nasabi kong mga functions namin, meron kaming mga divisions and sections for those activities. So yun lang. Gawin lang nila trabaho nila, and hopefully lahat yan ay mag-contribute sa competitive metals and engineering industry natin.
Let's say ako, negosyante ako, pwede ako lumapit sa MIRDC para mas, kumbaga, mas maging maganda yung production ng business ko.
Oo, maraming kaming services na offer, no? So merong mga trainings, trainings sa mga empleyado, trainings din sa mga management din para mapaganda yung flow ng production. Meron din kami mga testing facilities, yung mga process nyo na requires mga certification, testing, quality control. Yan, marami nagpapatest sa amin dyan. And also, meron din kami mga dinedevelop na technologies through our research and development. So, yung mga technologies na na-develop namin, sinishare din namin through technology transfer nga. Sinishare namin sa mga industry partners natin.
Talagang kayo mismo nagko-conduct ng training and workshops dito sa kanila? Kayo na mismo?
Meron tayong mga dyan. Meron mga short courses, mga 1 day, 2 days, 1 week training. Meron din tayong mga long term, 3 months to 6 months. So nagte-train tayo ng mga labor force para magkaroon sila ng mga competitive skills like welding, machining, mold making, yan. Nag-offer kami
mga casting.
Ganyan.
Kasi let's say, di ba, dito sa Pilipinas, nakakasabay ba tayo when it terms to technology? Although dinidevelop nyo na yung mga technology, siguro mga equipment natin for this kind of work, nakakasabay talaga tayo sa ibang bansa?
Actually, nung mga 60s, 70s, second only to Japan ang Philippines with regard to manufacturing. But yun nga, sadly, medyo naiwan tayo nung mga 80s, 90s, medyo naiwan na tayo. So we're doing a lot of catching up. And ngayon, yung na tayo, dito sa administration ni Secretary Montero, medyo talagang maabot na tayo kasi nakapag-pundar na tayo ng mga facilities natin na talaga namang at par with our ASEAN counterparts, yung mga katabi na neighboring countries natin, no? Yung facilities natin dyan, meron na tayong die and mold making, die and mold solution center, meron tayong surface engineering, meron tayong auto parts testing facility. So medyo ka-level na ng mga Asian countries yan. So ang dine-develop lang natin ngayon yung mga skills and yung mga expertise para itong mga facilities natin may akibat na manpower din.
Usually, sir, sino yung mga nagbe-benefit dito?
Yan, yung ating partner talaga, yung metals and engineering industries.
Anong klase ng work nila? Meron ba tayong specific or anything about metals?
Sa ngayon, marami kaming mga partner industry associations, no? So, nandyan yung Philippine Welding Society, nandyan yung Philippine Die and Mold PDMA, Philippine Die and Mold Association. Meron din PMAI, Philippine Metal Casting, Metal Working Association, Industry of the Philippines. So yan, yung mga industry associations, pati yung mga Mechatronics and Robotics Society, car manufacturing, yung mga parts manufacturer, yan. Sila yung mga nagbe-benefit dito sa mga serbisyo natin.
Ayun. Katulad ng Japan, di ba alam natin kung gaano ka-develop na bansa ito? Ayan, kaya natin makipagsabayan?
Kaya nating makipagsabayan. Or medyo humahabol tayong konti, pero nandiyan na tayo. Pati yung mga last week na may mga bisita kami from Korea and Taiwan. And nakita nila na nandiyan na tayo.
Are they contributing to us? Halimbawa, pwede silang let's say, mag-donate somehow? Kung may kakulangan man tayo?
Oo, marami tayo na forged na partnerships with yung mga counterparts natin from Korea, Taiwan, and Japan. And in fact, yung nagbibigay pa nga sila ng mga equipment din, nagdo-donate sila ng equipment. And ang kailangan lang din natin talaga is yung tech transfer din. Hindi lang naman kasi tech transfer na develop natin, marami na rin na-develop from yung mga kaibigan nating ibang bansa, sa ibang bansa. So, ang hinihingi natin sa kanila ay mag-share din sila sa atin. And napakaano naman nila, very generous din naman yung mga ano natin, mga kaibigan natin. So,
At ang DOST, talaga malaking tulong.
malaki ang ininvest ng DOST dito sa MIRDC, lalo nitong administration, Secretary Montero.
Ayun. Paano natin ilaganap yung awareness ng publiko about MIRDC?
So, yun nga, di ba meron tayong training, I mean, technology, information, may information exchange. So, meron tayong isang section dyan, technology, information, and promotion section. Talagang nagko-conduct sila ng mga IEC, information and education campaigns. Tapos, meron din mga through partnerships with STII.
Yes.
Nagkakaroon tayo ng mga venue para i-promote yung mga activities natin, yung mga technologies natin. And meron din tayong mga publications. Meron tayong yung MIRDC Trends and Events. Meron tayong Philmetals. May mga nilalabas tayong mga materials, no? But medyo ang audience kasi medyo limited tayo sa metals and engineering industries lang. So medyo hindi siya pangmasa, hindi pang public. So, yun nga, siguro ito, magandang venue na itong DOS TV na mapaalam sa ating mga kababayan na ito.
Yes, sir. Talaga kami nandito. Katuwang kami para mas mapaalam pa natin sa publiko yung magagandang project pala ng katulad niya ng MIRDC, different agencies na hindi alam talaga ng publiko na ito ang daming proyekto na pwedeng mapakinabangan ng mga kababayan natin, di ba? Sa ngayon, kamusta ang kalagayan ng MIRDC?
So, sabi ko kanina, marami na tayo na nasimulang mga facilities na Diamond Solution Center. And meron din tayo mga projects, ongoing projects na talaga namang may epekto sa ating sa national, marami tayong mga problemang kinakaharap sa bansa. At isang proyekto natin na maka-address sana sa problema sa traffic is itong mass transportation program namin sa MIRDC. Na-develop na namin yung automated guideway transit, meron kaming road train, at malapit na namin i-launch yung train na tatakbo sa release ng PNR.
Okay.
Meron na tayong na-develop.
Talaga nalalaki mata. Sana nga, sir, di ba? Kasi kawawang masa sa mga nagko-commute, di ba hirap na hirap din?
Gusto lang namin pakita na kayang gawin locally yung mga ganyang...
Hindi na natin kailangan
mag-import.
Mag-import, di ba? Lalo kapag nasira, hintay tayo ng hintay.
Pahirapan pang sa maintenance niya. But ito, since na-develop natin locally, kaya rin natin i-maintain, i-sustain locally.
As of the moment, ano na yung pinaka-biggest project ng MIRDC?
So yun nga, yung road train at yung PNR train natin is maganda ang performance doon sa testing, namin. So hinihintay lang natin talaga na may mag-adapt. Yung technology, i-adapt ng isang private company siguro or ang ating government din gamitin niya para ma-promote na itong technology na ito.
Pero siguro mas kailangan matutukan natin na government mismo ang magpatupad nito. Not necessarily we have to ask the private
Department of Transportation masuportahan itong natin, mass transportation programs and projects natin.
So ano pa? So yun lang hinihintay natin, sir? As of the moment talaga, yun na lang. Kumbaga on the go na to ready na. Okay. So, any other projects pa ba? Meron ba tayong iba pang mga halimbawa na-invent pa na technology or devices na para ma-improve pa natin ng ating industry?
Kasi yung sa MIRDC, nagde-develop kami ng mga machines. So, machines, medyo generic naman machines. Pwedeng pang agricultural, pwedeng pang food processing. So, meron na kami mga rice harvester, mga attachment na lang sa tractor ng mga magsasaka, kakabitan mo na lang ng mga attachment. Pwede na siyang pang-harvest, pwede na siyang pang-thresher, pwede na pang-transplanter. Yun, nag-develop namin ng ganyan. Tapos sa mga food processor naman, we have already developed yung mga food processing equipment like vacuum frying machine, water retort, freeze dryer, mga ganyan.
Ay, totoo yun. Nakita ko yun yung vacuum frying machine. Pero hindi pa yata nagagamit yun, sir? O meron na mga ilang company na gumagamit nito?
Nag-roll out tayo may tinatawag tayong Food Innovation Center. Bawat regions, meron ng Food Innovation Center yung mga ilang regions, no, yung iba ongoing pa yung production, pero ang gusto natin mangyari, magkaroon bawat region ng isang, yung mga gusto mag-develop ng food product
Yes,
like
yes.
mga variants ng dried mango, baka pwedeng vacuum dried mango, parang ganyan.
Yes, oo.
Makakapag-develop sila through that facility, yung mga food innovation centers natin. At yung mga equipment na nandun, locally made lang, hindi na kailangan mag-import pa.
Minsan nga nakita ko yun kasi nakita ko sa isang expo, ang DOST, ito nga tong machine na to. They're using pa lang yung mga gulay, okra. Yan. 'Di ba hindi na kailangan ng mantika, parang ganyan.
Hindi, meron
Konti
din
lang.
konti lang.
Oo.
Tsaka yung lasa niya parang fresh, parang the same,
The
fresh
same.
na.
Okay, any long-term plan po from MIRDC?
So, nagsimula na tayo ng mga, itong sabi ko, yung
Okay.
Diamond Solution Center. Meron tayong surface engineering facility. Ongoing ngayon yung gear making facility natin. At in the near future, nandyan na rin ang ating Advanced Mechatronics and Robotics Laboratory. Meron tayong Advanced Welding Laboratory. Meron din tayong Foundry Institute, Advanced Metal Casting. Yung mga serbisyo talaga na kailangan ng metal industry na advanced na sa ibang bansa, dinadala na natin dito at tinatayo natin dito sa MIRDC.
Pagdating sa mga estudyante, sir, anong contribution natin?
Siyempre sa estudyante, sa schools naman nila, no? Pero yung mga advanced courses or sa mga faculty rin, yung ibang mga faculty nagte-train din sa amin.
Sila mismo.
Oo. Tapos, yun nga, yung mga hindi tinuturo sa school, yung mga special skills sa amin makukuha yun. Like yung mga special, yung mga welding, yung mga machining, ganyan, 5-axis machining. Meron kaming ino-offer ng mga ganong training courses.
Balikan natin, sir, yung tungkol sa mass transpo. Meron na bang kumpanya na nag-offer ng kanilang bid? Private company?
Meron tayong yung M-Rail, no? Subsidiary ng Meralco. Meron na tayong pinirmang MOU with them na gagamitin lang yung road train technology natin. Maggagawa sila ng feasibility study kung pwede siya, kung maganda siyang i-adapt sa C5.
Okay.
So, through that study, gagawa sila ng a few prototypes, no? Tapos patakboy nila, testing nila. And pag maganda ang resulta, talagang full adoption yung mangyayari niyan.
So, isang company pa lang to?
Isang company, oo.
Okay, sana abangan natin, kasi marami na nag-aabang dyan, di ba, na mas
Marami kaming kausap, pero sila pa lang talaga yung may pinirmahan.
Na talaga may interest, parang ganyan. O kayo na rin ang nagde-decide for that?
Hindi, may mga may mga kausap na tayo, pero hindi ganun kalino na may sinulatan na tayo agreement. Ganyan.
Sige, abangan natin, sir. At ngayon sa pagpasok ng bagong administrasyon, sana lahat ng magandang proyekto natin maipatupad na ASAP siguro.
Yung sa transportation, magandang pag-asa kasi yung bagong transportation secretary natin, si incoming Secretary Tugade, one of the first na nag-adapt ng road train for testing sa Clark. Doon tayo, siya kasi yung past presidente ng Clark Development Corporation, doon tayo nagtetest ng road trains sa Clark for 2 years na. And inadapt nila yung isang version natin ng road train para mag-shuttle ng mga employees ng isang locator nila sa Clark from the gate, Clark Gate, doon sa factory.
Okay. So, 2 years, that was 2 years ago.
And ongoing pa rin.
Nagsimula
kami mag-testing sa Clark 2 years ago at ongoing pa yung yung may field testing tayo doon sa isang locator ng Clark.
Okay. So 5 years from now, kamusta ng kalagayan siguro ng MIRDC?
Talagang hinahabol natin yung maging ka-level na natin or mahigitan pa yung mga ASEAN counterparts natin. So hopefully makaabot tayo doon.
Ano pa ang dream nyo? Pangarap natin siguro. Dream project, let's say.
Dream project. Ang vision lang naman kasi ng MIRDC is to be a center of excellence in science, technology, and innovation for a globally competitive metals, engineering, and allied industry. So, yun lang talaga, maging competitive yung industry natin. Yun lang yung dream natin eh. Maging competitive siya, maging makipagsabayan na sa
Makipagsabayan
mga,
talaga.
hindi lang siguro dito sa ASEAN natin, but sa global.
Yes, totoo yun. At even yung ibang mga private companies na natulungan nyo naman, sir, ay yung kanilang mga produkto ay ginagawa ng kumbaga pang-export quality na di ba? Sa tulong ng MIRDC.
Hindi nga, yung ang gusto ko rin parating sa ating mga kababayan na yung pag gumanda tong takbo ng mga companies na to, pati yung lahat, magti-trickle down sa lahat kasi it will create more jobs, quality products na tayo yung lahat din makikinabang.
Totoo. Kapag maganda ang quality ng isang produkto, tatangkilikin talaga yan, di ba?
Yan.
Any more messages dun sa ating mga taga-subaybay, sir? Baka meron tayong gusto ipanawagan?
Yes, ang DOST ay hindi lang weather channel, hindi lang pag-asa, hindi lang disaster like, hindi lang earthquake, volcano. Meron din tayong MIRDC na nangangalaga sa ating sektor ng metal at engineering, metals and engineering industry. So, sana makilala nyo ang MIRDC, makilala hindi lang ng ating sektor na ito but ng buong sambayanan na ang serbisyo namin, although medyo limited kami sa sektor na ito, sa manufacturing industry, yung benefits na makukuha natin dito, magti-trickle down sa ating lahat, yung quality products na mabubuo ng ating mga manufacturing sector, makikinabang tayo lahat dyan. At pag gumanda ang production nila, it will create more jobs. Makikinabang din tayo lahat dyan. At through this special projects natin, yung mass transportation projects natin, na talagang naniniwala kami na it will help solve our transportation, traffic problems. Tayong lahat din ang makikinabang dyan. So, mga kababayan, ang DOST, hindi lang pag-asa, hindi lang P-Box, nandito rin ang Metals Industry Research and Development Center, MIRDC.
Thank you so much. Very well said, sir. At sana, doon sa mga kaibigan natin, sabi natin, ang DOST talaga, napakarami pang sangay neto na katuwang ninyo. Mas matutulungan pa ang ating mga kaibigan. Isa na nga dyan ang MIRDC. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank you rin, Jen,
for coming over. Thank you.
Welcome.
Maraming salamat
Maraming
sa
salamat sa
naibahagi niyo sa
opportunity.
amin. At sana kami rito sa DOS TV ay lagi nakasuporta din naman sa inyo, mga katuwang namin dito sa mga magagandang proyekto para sa ating mga kaibigan. Thank you. Ayan, syempre masaya kami na ang DOS TV ay katuwang to inform ang publiko with regard to your projects and innovations. And cheers to more projects and achievements. And mga ka-forever, that's it for our episode for today. Punong-puno ang mga susunod na araw ng mga special episodes para po sa inyo. Maraming salamat sa inyong panonood. Pero bukas, syempre, samahan niyo ulit kami 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. You can also visit our Instagram page, DOSTVPH, or our Facebook page, facebook.com/DOSTVPH. Kaya click na at mag-login para lagi tayong magkasama. Pero bago po tayo magpaalam, we would like to greet our production assistant, our nanay-nanaya ng DOSTV at Science Research Assistant ng STII, Ma'am Susana Abada. A very happy birthday. Happy birthday, ma'am. And of course, syempre sa aming boss, the very distinguished gentleman, Director Richard Burgos. Happy birthday po, sir. Sana marami pa tayong forever. Happy birthday! At syempre, eto na mga kaibigan, dahil weather lang ang laging nandyan, tagaraw man o tagulan, hindi namin kayo iwan kahit sino ka man. Kami po ang DOSTV na laging nandyan, may bagyo man, kulog o kidlat, hindi namin kayo iiwan. Dahil laging tandaan, weather is forever. Mula po sa staff and crew ng DOSTV, malugod kayong bumabati sa iyo, Director Richard, ng happy